Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, Council, Mayor, City Treasurer, and audience. This is the City of Romulus regular council meeting for Monday, August the 8th, 2016. The roll will show that all members are present. Tonight's council meeting agenda is as follows. Number 1, agenda, 2, minutes, 3, petitioner, 4, chairperson's report, 5, mayor's report, 6A, clerk's report, 6B, treasurer's report, 7, public comment, 8, unfinished business, 9, new business, 10, communication, 11A is warrant 16-15, 11B is warrant 16-15E, and number 12, adjournment. And a motion would be in order to accept the regular council meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Kraut, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the minutes of the agenda as presented. Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mikowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Agenda approved.
2A for approval are the minutes from the regular council meeting held August 1st, 2016.
So moved for August 1st, 2016.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Abdo, for approval of the minutes from the regular council meeting, which was held August the 1st, 2016. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Minutes approved.
There were no special meetings that were held on August 1st. We do not have any petitioners on the agenda. Number 4 is a chairperson's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tonight we had 2 meetings, 2 study sessions. At 6 o'clock, we had the Neighborhood Stabilization Program in the city of Romulus. At 6:30, we had the usage and leasing of Fire Station 1. At this time, I want to recognize Councilwoman Abdo first.
Thank you. I would like to ask for a memorial resolution for Michael Woods. Michael Woods is was a high school graduate, also former school board member for many years, dedicated a lot of his time into energy into our community.
I'll support it.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for a memorial resolution for Mr. Michael Woods. I'd like to make a comment on Mr. Woods. Mr. Woods was I know he was on the Board of Education at one time, a very active person in the community. Mr. Woods, always willing to help people in need. I remember when I first moved to Romulus years ago, Mr. Woods was right there lending a helping hand. And I know that he always had that smile on him as a good person, Mr. Woods. So he's going to be truly missed as an educator, as a friend, as a relative, as a mother, as a father. And it's just one of those things that a lot of good people leave you sometime, and you wonder, say, wow, how blessed you are to still be here. And you need to, pray and thank the Lord that everything goes great in the future for you.
And Mr. Barden?
Yes,
If
Mr.
I also
Barden.
could expand on that. I knew Mike Woods for many, many years, especially when he did serve on the school board. He was a very dedicated school board member, and he cared about his city, and God bless him.
Thank you. So it's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, for memorial resolution for Mr. Michael Woods. Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. The chair now like to recognize Councilwoman Mikowski.
I'd like to request a memorial resolution, and I have something to say after that. I'd like a memorial resolution for Alan William Rafalski, grandson of Carol Rafalski.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Kraut, for a memorial resolution for, which was the name again of that, Mr.?
Alan William Rafalski.
Alan William Makowski. Ms. Makowski?
If I may, I'd like to
Yes.
just say, thank you. So Alan was born in April of '97 and lost in a fire Saturday night, the 7th. He's survived by his parents, Alan and Suzanne Rafalski, a baby sister, Emily, and grandmother, Carol Rafalski of Romulus, and many other loving family members and friends. He graduated from Harbor High School in Santa Cruz, California, and was just beginning his second year at San Francisco State University. And John, I know you'll like this. During visits to his grandparents in Michigan, Alan became a huge fan of the Detroit Tigers.
All right.
He's a great kid and will be sorely missed by everyone that knew him. And I ask that you keep the Rafalskis in your prayers.
Thank you, Ms. Makowski. Thoughts and prayers also. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion approved. At this time, I'd like to, excuse me, for my semi-cold tonight, a little cold tonight, so excuse my coughing or whatever. I'd like to call up, if I could, St. John's Lodge, number 44. They have some information they would like to share with the city.
Where's that microphone? Where's that microphone?
Is the microphone?
It's right.
Mr. Barton,
That doesn't work.
Mr. Mayor.
We got a microphone for you, Jones.
I'm David Jones of St. John's Lodge, number 44, the senior warden, free accepted Masons, Prince Hall affiliated. I have with me our worshipful master, Brother Ezel Wooden, and our junior warden, Brother Curtis Hall. We're here today on our youth day, our annual youth day. I believe this is about our 27th or 27th annual youth day. And we come to the City Hall because every year you support us very well. And this is a community event that we have to pass our school supplies to the children in our community, Romulus and surrounding communities. So we have asking the city, who always help us, to support us, and the fire department and police department, who's always there. And we're gonna have some type of competition to help, make this a real fun day. We're gonna be passing out school supplies. We have our CHIP program. We have we do the blood pressure test, cholesterol test. We have the games, watermelons, food, all the food the kids can eat, watermelons, boiled corn. So we ask the city for their support and to continue, as we've done in the past. And if you want to donate, we are accepting any kind of donations that we can to help support this here. And like I said, I've always said in the past, I'd like to make this one of the best back-to-school giveaways in Wayne County. And I know we have the potential because Romulus is one of the best cities, the best kept secret in Michigan.
Mr. Jones,
Yes.
you guys was, go ahead.
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
And it will be August the 27th
Okay.
at the Coleman Center on Beverly Road, starting at noon to 5. And we have, we inviting all our principals. We're looking for the school to be there to help support this and build up our city also.
Yes, Mr. Jones, last council meeting, or your council meeting before that, you guys wasn't here, but I know the mayor and the council can testify that we was really proud of the game and the way it was played. and what you guys do in the community. And just like a prime example is tonight of what you guys do in the community, in all communities. So we just wanted to take our hats off. We did last time. We was hoping you guys be here. We finally said something good about you, and you wasn't here. Yeah, so anyway, our hearts is with you, and thanks a lot for your community support.
It probably was a good thing that we wasn't here. But it's all good, and we learned a lot that the best thing we learned is that we can't show up and play. We have to practice like the rest of those guys do. They play ball every week. And we got tired up in our head that we could just show up and just play some ball and knock the ball out of the park. A couple of those guys got up there, man, they hit the ball, I heard them grunt, that ball went well fence. I said, wow. I wish I had him on my team. But, it's all good. And y'all made a spectacle out of us that day. But it's all a good fun. We had a lot of fun that day. Thank you for competing with us, against us, and all that stuff.
Thank you. Mr. Jones?
On our youth day, we're looking forward to having our city represented. On our youth day, we're looking forward to have our city represented as usual.
Okay.
Because we like for them hear from the mayor and who's ever to help support this good program.
Okay, great. Yes, Mr. J.W. Speak in the mic so I can hear you, because I know you're going to say something.
We don't want to talk about this game at the youth day, okay?
Okay. All right.
And Mr.
Deal.
Chairman, if I
Yes.
could, I know that we're going to be picking another sport that we're going to be competing in, so trying to change it up a little bit. We're trying to get a horseshoe day scheduled where we're going to do something fun where people can participate, and again, maybe a little practice, but we're not practicing horseshoes. And anything you need for your event and fun day, you have the city support from city council to administrative office. So I will be there. I'm sure council will be there, and treasurer and clerk, and whatever you need. And it's good work because you're helping kids out, and that's what it's all about. And we joke about ball games and other things, but we're all here to make sure our community thrives and that our youth are behind that. So do we have a date for the horseshoe? Do we know? Is that set or not? I know they're working on getting it locked down, but we'll make sure everybody knows about it. And 29th? 29th. I think it's our open Monday night is what they pick. So, but thanks for all you do. We really appreciate you, and we'll support your youth day any way we can. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. All right, let's go. I have another person that would like to speak to recognize Councilwoman Abdo.
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to ask for a memorial resolution for Dick Cruz, as many of you know.
Support.
Dick, or Richard Cruz, was the band director at Romulus Middle School for many years. He also served as Romulus Community Schools music department head. He spent a great deal of his personal time and money to ensure that students learned to play an instrument. He's been an institution in this district for years. I know he taught my husband band, so I was surprised to find that out. He was City Person of the Year in 1992, and after he retired, he became kind of a PR person for the district. He was always around taking pictures and promoting Romulus schools. I'm sure we all have our Dick Cruz stories, and we all have some fun ones. So I'd like the resolution for him.
Support.
Thank you.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdo, and it was supported by Mr. Wadsworth for a memorial resolution for Mr. Cruz. Ms. Abdo,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth, Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. That concludes the chairperson's report.
Motion to accept the chairperson's report. Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Mikowski, to accept the chairperson's report. Ms. Choate,
Yes.
Ms. Mikowski,
Yes.
Mr. Kraut,
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe,
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved. Thank you.
Number 5 is the mayor's report.
Good evening, council, treasurer, clerk, deputy clerk, and audience. Tonight, I picked this quote for Mr. Cruz. It's a John Philip Sousa quote, and it goes as this: "Anybody can write music of a sort, but touching the public heart is quite another thing." And I think when you think of Mr. Cruz, he touched a lot of lives and a lot of hearts. And, you know, I was really hoping to save some of this for the cruise night, you know, that we're having. And I know last week we had Tina Talley came and spoke very eloquently about the impact Mr. Cruz had on her life. And so what we have this week is we now have visitation and a memorial service on Wednesday at Cranes. But what we're hoping to still do is next Friday in the Sounds of Downtown, still kind of a celebration of life. So it is still officially the Cruisers Night, and we'll be honoring Mr. Cruz. So come on out. We have a car show. We have music. We have, I think it's, what is it, Rust Belt Revival is our group. That's a hometown people that you'll recognize. Little different venue. It's kind of, remember if we did the kind of a hometown spirit, wear your maroon and white kind of night. You may see the Romulus Eagle there. So it's going to be a fun night. So we ask that people come out. Even though Mr. Cruz isn't with us physically, I know he'll be there in spirit. And, you know, he was a great guy. I mean, everybody has their stories, but I can tell you that, you know, he taught people in my family. I met my wife in his band. I was an 8th grade trombone player, and she was a 7th grade flute player. Kept looking across the band room at me, and, you know, the rest is history. And
What a love story.
so, oh, I tell you what. Then there was the summer I was grounded, and the only way I could get out of get away from home was my dad let me join his band, his marching band. He used to walk through the neighborhoods and wake people up. You remember that? Oh my gosh, we had fun that summer though. Thank God for my parents were tough on me, but it was fun. I didn't do anything really major. I don't even remember what it was. But everybody has their cruise stories. You remember him from his red Corvette driving all over town. Talk about dedication. You know, I remember going by the middle school and other programs, and he was the first one there and the last one to leave. And you talk about a man that was passionate about putting Romulus on the map with a music program. I mean, just impeccable scores. They had won ratings at districts and others for years, unheard of records that he set. And so music is an important part of our life. And so, you know, here he's still going to be teaching life lessons even though he's gone. So I just want to say, come on out, support it. It's still going to be fun. Let's honor Mr. Cruz. It's a shame he couldn't be there, but let's put a smile on his face from up above. Some other things going on, if we could, we have a quick video clip, right, Roger? We want to run with just some other activities that are going on.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening. Here are the news and views this week around Romulus. We had another successful weekend with Sounds in Downtown, drawing another very good crowd, and the Roman Chrome charity cruise was well attended. This Friday, the 12th, Sounds in Downtown, there will be a special event we're calling Cruise Night. We're inviting all Romulus alumni and band geeks out for a living memorial to honor the late Mr. Dick Cruz, longtime band director in Romulus. The band is a local group called Rust Belt Revival. They've entertained us before, and you'll see some familiar faces in the band. Farmers Market continues on Wednesdays from noon until 6. Romulus Chamber is hosting its annual golf outing. There are still some openings for foursomes and single golfers. Whole sponsorships also are available. The Romulus Fire Department is hosting their annual open house at Fire Station headquarters on Saturday, August the 27th. Save the date, the Romulus Senior Center Health and Wellness Fair will be Tuesday, September the 13th, 9:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. Remember to stay tuned following this meeting for our complete news show, or visit our website for more information on any of the events and programs we mentioned today.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Roger. A couple things on the positive side. Just wanted to give a shout out. We have a couple birthdays coming up. I show that we have Councilwoman Kathy Abdos on August the 15th. Happy birthday. And also our treasurer Stacy Page on the 16th. Happy birthday. So congratulations and enjoy your birthday. And Kraut says anybody else in August, right, Harry? Cover them. Some other information, just more to pass along. You know, we're trying to make sure we're obviously, you always hear us talk about promoting local business and supporting the businesses that are here. Everybody knows there's well-needed construction going on Eureka Road between Middle Belt and Inkster. Not only do we have our Fire Station 4 there, but we have some businesses that are there. So they've been saw cutting, replacing concrete sections. I just want to make sure you know, Blocks is still open. Time Restaurant, they're still open. We have businesses in that area. Our fire station has routes, emergency routes in and out of that station to serve the community. But even though the next few weeks you're going to still see saw cutting and concrete replacement, please make sure that you don't ignore that part of town and do business there as well too. So keep that in mind. And with that, I'll get into my normal report, Mr. Chairman. We have a couple items for action here tonight. The first one was item A, and that's a request to concur with the administration, authorize city council to extend bid award 12/13-02. That's with RS Contracting for line marking for local and major streets, and that'll end through 2016.
So moved for the extension of bid award 12/13-02 for pavement markings.
Support.
It's been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Mr. Abdo. And this is to concur with the administration, authorize the city of Romulus to extend bid award 12/13-02 with RS Contracting for line marking of local and major streets as needed. And that's through the end of 2016. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Crowd?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And next item is item number B, and what you have before you is a request to concur with administration and authorize the extension of our Mitten Cooperative Bid Award with Washington Elevator Company, Inc. for the additional one-year period ending October 31st of 17 at the original bid price for sidewalk ice melt compounds.
So moved.
Support.
The motion by Ms. Makowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe. And this is to concur with the administration, authorize the extension of MITN Cooperative Bid Awards to Washington Elevator Company, Inc. for an additional one-year period. And that was ending October 31st, 2017, at the original bid price for sidewalk ice melt compound. Ms. Makowski,
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe.
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth.
Yes.
Mr. Kraut.
Yes.
Ms. Choate.
Yes.
Ms. Abdo.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item C is a recommendation to concur with Tim Keys, our Economic Development Director, and our legal counsel, and to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into an attached pipeline easement agreement between the city of Romulus and Wolverine Pipeline, and that's to allow a 50-foot perimeter easement at the 16-foot temporary work easement for the proposed 16-inch pipeline. Upon execution of this agreement, Wolverine Pipeline will pay the city $26,815.00.
Chair, I'll make that motion. Memorandum of understanding with Wolverine Pipeline.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Roscoe, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, and that's for the memorandum of understanding for the Wolverine Pipeline. Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And the next item, there's actually two motions required for this particular one, and this is to concur with the recommendation of our Property Disposition Committee, Tim Keys Economic Development, and Legal Counsel. And the first one is to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached agreement with the Wayne County Treasurer to purchase foreclosed homes in the city of Romulus as described in Exhibit A, and this is per our study session earlier.
I'll make the motion with discussion, please.
I'll support it.
It's been motioned by Ms. Makowski, supported by Mr. Wadsworth, and that was to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached agreement with the Wayne County Treasurer to purchase foreclosed homes in the city of Romulus as described in Exhibit A. Discussion.
Just a couple of questions. First question, is the scope of the change from what was in our packet beforehand to just before just the listing of the Exhibit A?
There's a few other changes in the agreement resulting from negotiations with the contractor that's proposed to be awarded an agreement.
So could you tell me which sections were changed?
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
The list of properties did also change. It was reduced. There was a waiting period.
there was a change on the first page to make it a little clearer that developer would be paid back if there were any of the homes on the list that ultimately do not get purchased because somebody came along in the last second and redeemed the property. So it's theoretically possible that the list would shrink from what's on Exhibit A after for the $41,000 to us. So I made it clear he would get, developer would get that back.
I just pull it.
And we also originally had some discussions in the agreement about a 30-day notice to all of the property owners that would be provided by the city. As they indicated in their presentation tonight, the developers taking on that obligation to notify and work with any occupants of any of the units. So that was changed in the agreement. We took out, there was a provision about them putting up a security agreement for an amount of money to assure they would do the performance of the work. That was removed from the agreement. There was originally some provisions about renting that was removed from the agreement also. The original proposal provided for a fixed administrative fee. The changes is that it's now 5% of the amount. In the agreement, that's going to be the administrative fee. We had the authority in here to do an audit of them, and that was clarified that the audit refers to the expenses that they had for rehabilitation rather than right to audit their entire corporate records. That was basically it.
Okay, thank you for that still. All right, so this $41,000, help me understand this transaction. We are gonna buy the property.
We're the ones that,
And they pay.
yeah, we're the ones that actually has to
Have
give
first right of
them,
refusal.
Right.
has to give the money to the county. So they're gonna provide us with the $41,000. The city would then write a check to Wayne County
Okay.
for that $41,000, assuming all the properties are still available on the day that that's done, and then we would subsequently quitclaim deed. Once we receive the deed from Wayne County, we would quitclaim deed the
For
properties.
$1 per.
Correct.
See, I couldn't find where they paid us 41,000. I was thinking, we're gonna buy this for 41 grand, then we're gonna get it for $1.
Yeah, it's in
So,
the development
thank you for
agreement,
that.
they're gonna provide.
Got it. Okay, that's good. All right, thank you.
The whole Justice program, which is very positive, is to take homes that would go back for foreclosure and redevelop them. And sometimes they might be one of the lower level homes in the neighborhood, bring them up to one of the top level and get people in them as well. So,
It brings
is there
back
any other?
to the tax roll.
Exactly, yes.
Well done. Thank you.
And at no cost to the city, basically.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Any other?
any other discussion? Okay. Ms. Bukowski?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion is approved.
And the second item, or motion on that same item, would be a request to also concur with the Property Disposition Committee, Tim Keys, and legal counsel, and authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached development agreement between Realty Transitions LLC and the city of Romulus for the rehabilitation of properties that are acquired.
So moved.
Support.
A discussion.
It's been motioned by Mr. Watt,
Mrs. Mikowski.
oh, Ms. Mikowski, I'm sorry. It's been motioned by Ms. Mikowski, supported by Mr. Kraut. And this is to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into the attached development agreement between Realty Transition LLC and the city of Romulus for the rehabilitation of the properties acquired. Discussion.
And the only thing I would like possibly put in this motion is that when feasible, local vendors and suppliers be used during the rehabilitation of the property.
No problem.
Okay.
We'll make sure that reflects in the minutes,
Okay.
Madam Clerk, and we could.
Any other discussion? Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion approved.
Thank you, council. Next item is E, and that's a request to, basically to approve the account for court building funding activity as approved by City Council on their July 25th in accordance with Section 2 and 4 of the Memorandum of Understanding. Additionally, to account for those costs associated with professional services provided to Orchard Hills and McClement through June 30th of 2016.
So moved. Support.
Been motion by Ms. Mikowski, supported by Ms. Roscoe, to account for the court building funding activity as approved by the City Council on July 25th. Ms. Mikowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. And the last item for action is F, and that is for encumbrances. And this is a motion to concur with the administration, authorized approval of fiscal year 15-16 encumbrances for supplies and/or services in the amount of $7,787,327.38.
So moved for the fiscal year of 15/16 of the incumbents listed.
Support.
Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Mikowski, and this is motion for the fiscal year 15/16 encumbrance listing. Any discussion? Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Mikowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
And thank you, council. That concludes my report.
6A is the clerk's report. I do not have any items listed on the agenda. However, I would just like to have a few comments with regards to the election and acknowledge a few people, if I may, Mr. Chair, under the clerk's report. First, I'd just like to thank everyone that helped out and supported for this August primary election. We only had about 11% voter turnout. Half of that was the absentee voters, but yay, that was good. Our numbers are up for absentee voting, so that's good. But there's a few people that I would like to just acknowledge and say thank you. As you all know, elections, I'm sure Madam Choate could really back me up on this. There's a lot of work that goes into putting on elections. Doesn't matter if it's 1% or 10% voter turnout or 50% voter turnout. First, I'd just like to acknowledge and thank my deputy clerk, Barb Fitzgerald, and the entire clerk's office staff. Next, I would like to thank Mayor Burkroff and the chief of staff and his administration for all of their support. And then I'd like to just acknowledge all of our election inspectors, chairs, co-chairs, those that served on the AV counting board, the receiving board. We had a lot of new inspectors for this election and in preparation to training for the November election. So we were really excited. There was a new energy with our election inspectors. So I just want to acknowledge them and say thank you just for their hard work. Dennis Davison and Chris Dunn. They were runners for us, and they kind of helped us with those little tasks. And Mr. Dunn, of course, being Mr. Dunn, the person that he is, he went around passing around water to everyone and to the election workers. So I'd like to thank them. Next, I'd like to acknowledge the school district, Margie McAnally, and then the custodial staff that works for Romulus Community Schools. And then also West Village Estates, the Romulus Athletic Center, DPW, Department of Public Works. They're a huge part in picking up the equipment, dropping off the equipment, helping us set up and picking up the equipment. We did something a little different with adding more venues with our training. So I'd like to thank the library and also the senior center for their support and allowing their facilities for us to conduct our training, to Romulus PD. For those that don't know, after the polls close and after everyone goes home, I still have to make a trip out to Detroit and to Wayne County. So I'd like to thank Chief Settles and the Romulus Police Department for their support and escorting us to Wayne County after the polls closed. We also piloted a couple of precincts with dual e-poll books. So if you were in precinct 7, precinct 7 and precinct 5 and precinct 8, we piloted the dual e-poll book. This is something where the state is recommended, so you can have 2 laptops in an effort to get the lines, moving the lines. And so we piloted 3 precincts, and I couldn't have done that without the help of our IT department. Steve Dudek was very instrumental in helping us get that off. So I'd really like to acknowledge him. And I don't think I've missed anybody, but again, I just want to thank everyone. Again, gotta mention Councilwoman Abdo. Thank you. She came in and we were working late one night and she went and brought in potato chips and snacks for us. So thank you, Council, for your support. I know Councilwoman Roscoe, she popped in just to, kind of encourage us. So thank you, Council, Mr. Chair and Council, also our Treasurer. She's also very supportive. And thank you to everyone just for your support as for this past election. And we're preparing already for November. So thank you very much. And with that, that concludes the clerk's report.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
6B is the treasurer's report.
Evening.
Good evening.
I do not have any items under my report, but thank you.
Thank you.
All right, number 7 is public comment. This is that portion of our agenda that's set aside for all you wonderful folks out in the audience. If you have comments that you would like to make, please raise your hand, and after you've been acknowledged by our chairperson, approach the podium, state your name, and we ask that you please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you have questions or if there's any comments that require a response from City Council, please note that that will be done under unfinished business. We do not have any written request.
Any comments from the audience? Ms. Lemon?
Good evening, Jan Lemon, Chairman of Cemetery Board of Trustees. You haven't seen me for a while, but that doesn't mean things isn't happening. We are getting very excited about our new gate that's going to be coming. And at this time, I would like to thank the council, the mayor, the Keys, Mrs. Bragg, the money that has been allotted for this, the money that we collected in donations. That's what's helping pay for this gate, and it's going to be very nice for our cemetery. In March, I did a euchre tournament for the board, and we raised a lot of money. And I'm going to do another one in October. And thanks to Mr. Barden, he's already made a donation. If you do not play, that doesn't mean you can't donate a little something. Everything helps us. We give them free food, and we get door prizes, and we give away $500. So tickets go fast, and once again, there'll only be 100 tickets sold, and we will start selling the end of August. So please come out and support us. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lemon. Are there any other comments? Yes, Ms. Page.
I just wanted to say I did attend last year. It was a ton of fun, and if you love euchre, you're going to love going to that event because it's well organized, lots of great prizes, and of course, prize money is always the best. So come out and support the local library. They do an excellent job, and you'll have a great night. Cemetery. Sorry. Cemetery. Thank you.
See the look on her face.
And any other comments from the audience? Okay, No more comments, we'll close that part out, Ms.
Great.
Kirby.
Number 8 is unfinished business.
Mr. Chairman, just
Yes.
one thing to add is that I wanted to thank Lynn Conway for all her work on that as well. She worked with purchasing and the bid specs and making sure we got the right gate. And so, with the clerks and the administration and Lynn working and the fundraising, it worked out well. So I just don't want to leave her out. Thank you.
Thank you.
If there's no more unfinished business, number 9 is new business.
Mr. Garden?
Yes, Mr.
If I can, just real quick, even though it's 5 weeks from now during the Pumpkin Festival, we're playing bingo again for the animal shelter, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, looking for volunteers to help, looking for players. Anybody who wants to donate anything in the way of pops or chips, please contact me. And all the funds go to the shelter.
All right. Number 10 is communication.
Madam Chair, do we have a date? What is the Pumpkin Festival?
It's the 3rd weekend in September.
The 16th, 17th, and 18th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to add, right after that, the following weekend will be our fall citywide garage sale. So that following weekend. Also, Mr. Chair, if I can, would be remiss of me, I did forget to mention someone, and that is the cable department. I've got to put a plug in for the cable department. Mike Laskaska, we worked on just having a little something on cable with regards to the election. He did a great job, and also Mr. Roger Cadu was very, very instrumental in helping us with supplying us some just equipment and helping us with the training and things. So it would definitely be remiss of me if I didn't mention our wonderful cable department, Roger and Mike. So thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.
If there's no more communication, number 11A is for approval is warrant 16-15.
Mr. Chairman,
This is Ms. Choate.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 16-15 in the following amounts. General Fund, $83,816.41. Major Street Fund, $3,880.12. Local Street Fund, $2,440.54. Cable TV, $6.50. Street Lighting Fund, $45,886.22. CDBG, 81 cents. 911 Service Fund, $11,868.34. Narcotics forfeiture for the state is $3,551.16. The Library Fund is $3,823.38. DDA is $1,456.20. Tifa District 2 is $5,652.18. Tifa Vining Road Construction, $28,422.75. Water and Sewer Fund, $75,919.38. Motor Vehicle Fund, $3,028.54. Technology Services, $2,174.51. Retirees Insurance Benefits, $34,734.14. Revolving Fund, $11,889.91. Payroll Fund, $69,444.16, for a grand total of $387,994.25.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Mr. Kraut, to pay warrant number 16-15 for $387,994.25. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Warrant number 16-15 will be paid.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Ms.
I'd like to make a motion that we pay warrant 1615E in the following amount, and this was for the election held on Tuesday. $13,622.50.
Support.
Been motioned by Ms. Choate, supported by Ms. Makowski, and this is to pay warrant number 16-15E for $13,622.50. Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Warrant number 16-15E will be paid.
And number 12 is adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Been motioned by Mr. Wadsworth, supported by Ms. Makowski for adjournment. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Makowski?
Yes.
Ms. Roscoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kraut?
Yes.
Ms. Choate?
Yes.
Ms. Abdo?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are adjourned. Thank you.